Right. So today we have to discuss three lessons. Right. We have to discuss three lessons. One is the introduction to accounting, the accounting equation, and the dual impacts. Right. Dual impacts. So मैं तुम्हें summary करना summarize करना then we will go to the activities later. Right. So now accounting equation करता हूँ. Right. Before we go to the accounting equation, we have to start with the introduction to accounting. So when it comes to a business, right? When it comes to a business, we can divide, right? We can divide into 5 elements, right? A business can be divided into 5 elements. That is the assets, the liabilities, the income, sorry, not income, the equity, and the expenses. And then finally the income, right? So those are some of the elements. So the 5 elements that you can see when it comes to a business, right? When it comes to the accounting part, those are the 5 elements you can see in the accounting part. Okay. So asset means what? Assets means anything, right? Anything which is owned and controlled, right? Owned and controlled by the business, which will generate future economic benefits. Right, which will generate future economic benefits into the business, right? Future economic benefits will flow into the business. But other computer का तो एक computer के मटा तास आते हैं कि मासिक मगे income ना generate करना पुला. So that is an asset. This asset can be divided into 2 types. Assets is divided into 2 types as current assets and non-current assets. Current assets are the things which will be consumed within a period of 1 year. Within a period of 1 year, these assets will be used. That is what we call a current assets. For example, cash, stocks, right? And debtors, those will be current assets. Non-current assets, these are the things which will be used for more than a period of period more than 1 year. Use current. So, motor vehicles, buildings, land, those things will come under non-current assets. And then there is liabilities of a business. Liabilities, those are anything, right? This is also anything. But here the liabilities are not covered by the business, right? Liabilities are it's a kind of a responsibility for us. Now, liabilities are things which are payable, right? Things which are payable by a business which is generated as a result of a past transaction, and the benefits, right? Economic benefits will outflow. Right? Now the economic benefits will outflow from a business. Business saying other loan but hiking interest loan. So thereby we say the liability is having a economic benefit outflow from the business. So once again, liabilities can be divided into 2 as current liabilities and non-current liabilities. Current liabilities and non-current liabilities. Current liabilities means we have to pay within a period of 1 year, right? We have to pay back within a period of 1 year, like creditors, bank overdraft, those things will come under current liabilities. Then you have non-current liabilities, those we can call as long-term loans, like bank loans, maybe what we call this bank loan, mortgage loan, those things will come under non-current liabilities. And then equity means everything which is owned by a business stakeholder, stakeholder. All the things that are owned by a business, we call it as equity. All the things that are invested by the owner of the business, we call it as equity. And then expenses came on, and then you have the income. So these are the basics for the introduction to accounting. Introduction to accounting, right? Based on these things, right? Based on these assets, liability, and equity, income, and expenses, we form an equation, right? Based on this, we form an equation that is asset equal equity plus liability. Asset equal equity plus liability, that is the basic accounting equation. So assets, not assets, the equity, right? If you want to find the equity, sometimes the exam find the equity here. Equity is equal to assets minus liabilities. Like substitute right? As equity is equal to asset minus liabilities, then you will get the equity. This equity will be changed, right? The equity of the business will be changed due to 4 reasons, right? The equity of the business will change due to 4 reasons. The reason number 1 is due to additional capital. Right? Due to additional capital, the equity of the business will change. Due to drawings, right? Due to drawings, the equity will decrease. Due to expenses, the equity will decrease. Due to income, the equity will increase. So again, the reasons why the equity of the business change is due to additional capital, due to drawings, due to expenses, and due to income. Right. Now, when transactions happen in a business, due to transactions, when transactions happens in a business, these assets, liabilities, equity, income, expenses, they try to change. May transactions may change it. So these changes will be shown in 2 impacts, right? There will be 2 impacts when these changes happen. There is a debit impact, there will be a credit impact. Now if you think debit කියලා කියන්නේ වැඩි වෙන එකට, credit කියලා කියන්නේ අඩු වෙන එකට කියලා හිතුවොත් ඒක වැරදි. එහෙම නෙමෙයි, right? අඩු වෙද්දි right වැඩි වෙද්දි debit වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, අඩු වෙද්දි debit වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. අඩු වෙද්දි credit වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, වැඩි වෙද්දි debit වෙන්නත් credit වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. Right? These things can happen. So we'll see how to find this, right? So there is a rule, right? When the dual impacts of the rule එකක් තියෙනවා. අපි බලමු මොකද්ද මේ rule එක කියලා, right? So assets, liabilities, equity, income, and expenses, right? මෙයාලා rule එකක් තියෙනවා බලන්න. Assets increase වුණොත් එහෙම නැත්නම් ඒවා decrease වුණොත්, right? Increase වුණොත් හරි decrease වුණොත් හරි මොකද වෙන්නේ? When asset increases, we have to debit it. When asset decreases, we have to credit it. When liabilities increases, we have to credit it. When liabilities decreases, we have to debit it. When equity increases, we have to credit it. When equity decreases, we have to debit it. When income increases, we have to credit it. When income decreases, we have to debit it. When expenses increases, we have to debit it. And when expenses decrease, we have to credit it. මෙන්න මේ සෙට් එක මෙන්න මේක හොඳට පාඩම් කරගන්න ඕනේ. ඕක පැටලෙන්න බෑ. ඕක පැටලුණොත් ඉවරයි. right? So මේක නිකන් අර ආය නරුණා මේක මතක තියෙන්න ඕනේ මෙන්න මේ debit credit වෙන්නේ මොනවද කියන එක. right? So that's about the dual impact of transactions. Now let's say we'll take a transaction now. Right? The transaction comes to purchase of stocks. Purchase of stock 5,000. So what is the dual impact? Purchase account, right? Purchase account debit වෙනවා 5,000. මොකද purchase කියන්නේ expense එකක්. expenses වැඩි වෙනවා. So purchase account debit 5,000. And then මොනවද දීලා purchase කරන්නේ? cash දීලා purchase කරනවා. So then cash account will credit 5,000. stock account කියලා එකක් තියනවද? නැහැ. නා stock account කියලා එකක් නැහැ. මතක තියාගන්න. We'll take obtain bank loan, right? Obtain bank loan. So when you are obtaining bank loan, අපේ cash මොකද වෙන්නේ? cash වැඩි වෙනවා. It means cash account will get debited, let's say 20,000. මොනවද ගත්තේ? bank loan. Bank loan is a liability, so bank loan account, right? Bank loan account that will get credited. Bank loan account will get credited as 20,000, right? Bank loan account will get credited as rupees 20,000. So ඔය වගේ තමයි double entries සාමාන්‍ය record කරන debit credit වගේ දේවල්. අපි questions වල ගිහිල්ලා බලමු, right? So we had discussed the accounting equation, introduction to accounting, and dual impact of transactions. ඔයට discuss කරලා බලමු. එතකොට අපිට මේ lesson එක සම්පූර්ණ තේරෙයි. I'll now share the screen. You can follow with me. Okay, right now. So these are the questions that we have to discuss regarding the above 3 lessons, right? So here you will have the introduction to accounting, the accounting equation, and then the double entry system, right? The dual impact of transactions. So it is then discuss කරන්න තියෙනවා. So we'll quickly go through this. Select the transaction that is recorded only in asset accounts in a business. So what are things that is recorded only in assets account? So here the answer would be the second one, right? So the third one. Purchase of a computer 100,000 in cash for office use. Why? When it comes to right, say when it comes to the accounting equation, asset equal equity plus liability, then when I purchasing a computer, एक record date कौन मतलब? मैं asset column में कितना record date? Hey, minus cash 100 plus computer, right? 100. ono tara itara record date abe me anithe uttama credit bank account ඊට පස්සේ equity account right ඊට පස්සේ මෙතන creditors account asset account ඒ වගේ එක තැන්වල record වෙනවා only the third one right purchasing of computer විතරයි asset account එකේම record date okay so plus 100 minus 100 වෙන්නේ okay විතරයි the next one number 2 following is a transaction occurred in a business in 2017 purchasing a stock of goods rupees 50,000 in cash. Because of this, what happens? You are purchasing stock of goods 50,000. Only assets change, only the liabilities change, only the assets and liabilities change, all assets, liability, and equity change. So when you purchase goods for rupees 50,000 on cash, only the assets will change. Yeah? Only the assets will change, nothing else happens. Even assets, so net impact, the net impact is 0, but the type of the asset will change. Right? Goods stick when you know cash and you know, right? And then the next question, use the following information to answer the question number 3 and 5. Assets and liabilities of Rohan's business as of 31st March are given below. The motor vehicle 150,000, credit 25,000, bank loan 50,000, cash 12,000, debtors 20,000. The amount is capital of this business, right? So they have given the assets and liabilities. So when you calculate, right, assets stay on the building. So motor vehicle, cash, debtors. They have to add these three plus from that you have to deduct, right? From the assets, you have to deduct these liabilities, right? My liabilities decrease to 107,000, right? This will be the answer. The amount of current assets in this business. So if you see what are the current assets, motor vehicle is not current asset, right? Motor vehicle is not the current assets. Cash is a current asset, debtor is a current asset. That means it is 32,000. That is 32,000. Out of the following types of accounts, the drawing account is drawings account theory. So drawings account is a negative equity account. Right? Drawings fall under negative equity account. Drawings is equity under, because of that we say it's a negative equity account. Simple as that. So using the following information, answer the question 6 and 7. Some information of Kapila's business is given below. Building, stocks, debtors, loans. Select business that gives asset liabilities of this business correctly in this sequence. So if you take the assets, right, what are the assets? I have building, stocks, debtors. Those are assets. So when you calculate the assets, you can get 100,000 assets. And the liabilities is 25,000. So thereby the answer would be 100,000 and 25,000. Then number 7, the capital of Kapila's business is you can find the capital. So assets and liabilities done, right? Whether assets 3 or liabilities done. Assets and liabilities 100,000 you can get 75,000 as the capital of this business. 8. Assuming as a bank loan of rupees 12,000 for a business, through this transaction into a business, the assets and the equity increase. The assets and liabilities increase. The asset
increase, my liquidity decrease. Loan lending, right? When you are obtaining a loan for 200,000, your cash asset, right? The cash asset will increase, your bank loan liability will also increase. So asset will increase and liabilities will increase, right? The asset will increase and the liabilities will increase. The answer is number two. Which of the following is generally considered as a payment reserve? Payment reserve type again finished goods. Finished goods means the goods that you are having to sell, right? Before the finished goods correctly. Okay, 10. The overall result is obtaining a bank loan for a business is, right? When you obtain a bank loan for a business and continue with the question with the amount, both the assets and the liabilities will increase. Okay. So that is the question, right? Those are the questions that is related to the first lesson that we discussed, right? Introduction to accounting matter, and then we'll see what are the questions that is there for the accounting equation. So now, when it comes to accounting equation, you can say select the answer which shows the basic accounting equation correctly. So the basic accounting equation, asset plus liability is equal to equity. Where are they? Asset minus liability is equal to equity. That is correct. Asset equity is equal to asset minus liabilities. Bakın accounting equation కి ఏం మెథడ్ ఎక్కుతున్నాము సింపుల్ accounting equation కి కట్టియ ఎలా ఇట్ ఇస్ తెలియదు. So it is with one question nega. So we have to be careful. Sometimes all the ane me apit me again me nane me gonna the institutions for the purgula the. Number two, select the correct statement with regard to the accounting equation. Wow. Accounting equation related correct statement. What is this? When a bank loan has been obtained, the value of asset is equal to the owner's equity, the value of the value after deducting the liabilities from asset is equal to owner's equity. Fourth thought. Calling correct thing, मैं मेतन तीन equation है मतलब मेतन किया थी. The accounting equation of Shiran's business is at first of 9 days as follows. The assets 25, equity 15, liabilities 10. So the asset has decreased, the equity has decreased, liability has decreased. Okay. What is the transaction that has occurred in this place? Okay. What is the transaction that has been occurred? See, I'll go with the answer number 3, paying bank loan installment 4,000 including an interest. When you are paying bank loan installment 4,000, we can remember 4,000 immediately. Unassets, right? Unassets 4,000 immediately. That is cash. There is an interest expense. Interest expense is coming on equity. Equity convert no. Equity convert equity convert. And then from the bank loan, 4,000 not 10,000, 10,000 3,000 grams 7,000. Thereby the correct answer is simple as that. I guess you're so far so good. If you have any doubts, please ask me. And if you have any unclear area, you may WhatsApp me after this session. After you watch this session, theoretically, WhatsApp message చేద్దాం. And because of the employees pay, first question, because of the employees' salaries of rupees 8,000 in a business, right? When you are paying employees salaries 8,000, again the cash and equity and cash can accept. So asset will decrease and equity will also decrease. So the answer is first term. Asset decrease 8,000, equity decrease 8,000. This business purchased the shortcut goods at cost on 220,000 product and then a 10% discount was deducted. Further 10% cash discount was received when paying money. You can just, whether again may 20,000, we have purchased goods worth 20,000. When you are purchasing, a 10% discount is given, that means 2,000 rupees. So your purchase price is 18,000. And out of 18,000, when you are paying, another 10% discount is given. That is a cash discount. That means rupees 1,800 has been deducted. So now you are paying just 16,200. Now you are paying just 16,200. Okay. Due to this, right, due to this transaction, what is the net impact? That is that net impact to your assets. Your assets will increase by 1,800 due to this thing, right? Your asset will increase 1,800 due to the discount that you have received. The influence of a transaction to accounting equation is as follows. Asset 15,000, liabilities 15,000. What has happened? You have purchased goods from Sunima, right? Purchasing goods from Sunima. And due to that, stock increases. Due to that, liabilities will also increase. That is what has happened. And then select the answer that shows the correct impact of basic accounting equation when paying business rent 8,000. When you are paying rent, your cash will decrease and your rent expense will increase. Thereby, asset will decrease 8,000, your equity will decrease by 8,000. So the second one is the answer there. And then the next, the influence of transaction to the accounting equation is as follows. So accounting influence of a transaction for the accounting equation. 25,000 increase in assets, liabilities 25,000 increase in. So what has happened? You have purchased, once again, you have purchased stock of goods on credit for rupees 25,000. So metana stock of goods 25,000 vediveno, metana vediveno another. Liability 25,000 vediveno because you are purchasing it on credit. 9, the transaction that increases both assets and liabilities of a business is, right? The transaction that increases both assets and liabilities of a business is assets 20 kada, liabilities 20 kada kahoga. Yeah. Obtaining a bank loan 50,000. When you obtain a bank loan 50,000, your asset will increase 50,000 cash and the liabilities will also increase by 50,000. Okay, that's the answer. The accounting equation of Kavindra's business as of 31st March is given below. Asset 92,500 may amounts to about the right? So select the correct answer. Is this? Select the correct accounting equation after receiving an investment income of 4,200. So investment income will go to assets, cash will increase, right? Assets, the cash will increase, and then 4,200 capital will increase. 92,000 to 4,250 it will become 96,750, and like capital will become 71,750, and liabilities will stay at 25,000. So the correct answer will be 4,000, right? And then the value 4,200 assets and the capital values. The asset value capital value anchor on the Can you hear me? Okay, I guess you can hear me once again. Then mic charge less up, right? So, right. Right. So the next question is by purchasing a stock on credit, a business, right? In a business, same thing. Question the assets and liabilities will increase. The accounting equation of a business was as follows, right? The assets is 150, equity is 100, liabilities 50. After purchasing a plant of 50,000, right? This business, the accounting equation indicates, right? Like after purchasing for 50,000, what happens? The asset credit owner, right? I asset adwin, cash 50,000 adwin owner, plant 50,000 adwin. So there is no net impact, right? The net impact is zero. Thereby, the accounting equation will not change.
asset will be 150, the equity will be 100, and the liability will be 50,000 as it is. Okay. Right. And then we'll move on to the next question. That is, Sakumar started a business by investing 20,000. He obtained a bank loan of rupees 10,000 on the same day. He also purchased a stock of goods for rupees 5,000 for sale, and the transport cost was 500. You are required to select the correct accounting equation for the above transaction. So he started the business by investing 20,000, the loan 10,000, and he also purchased goods for 5,000, and the transport cost was 500. So accounting equation with them both, the capital invested is 20, the bank loan is 10, the cash balance is 24,500 because he has purchased goods for 5,000 and the transport cost was 500. So cash in this is 24,500. So this stock will be for rupees 5,500, right? Okay. No, sorry, the purchase stock was 5,000, right? Stock is 5,000. The answer would be the next one, right? The answer will be this second one. Capital 19,500 plus bank loan 10,000, cash will be 24,500 and stock will be 5,000, right? This transport cost 500 will be deducted from this capital 20,000. So 19,500 ತಮ್ಮ had. So what is the transaction that affects the equity of this business? A transaction which affect the equity. Equity na. Selling a stock of goods at for rupees 9,000, which cost 8,000. So 8,000 worth good and 9,000 worth become there is a 1,000 rupee profit. This profit will be affecting the equity of the business. The equity of Cousins business as at 1st of January was 150, while the equity as at 31st January was 70. Only one transaction could be occurred during that period. The transaction is, right? So what has happened? The equity, right? The equity 150 has been increased up to 170,000. So the reason for that will be selling of stock of goods worth 40,000 on credit, which is having a cost of rupees. No, wait. Sorry, not that one. The other answer, right? Fourth one. Selling a stock of goods 60,000 in cash, which cost 4,000. Okay. Make a equity advocate, right? This is not the answer, right? This is not the answer. The correct answer is fourth one. Selling a stock of goods for rupees 6,000, which cost 40,000. Out of the following, select the transaction that does not affect the equity, right? So, which is not affecting the equity. Okay. So, when you are paying rate, it will affect equity. Additional income will affect the equity. Paying creditors by owner's money will affect the equity. So, answer number 4, paying for 2,000 accrued expenses will not affect the equity. So, then cash and liabilities are accrued. Okay, cash and liabilities affect because accrued electricity means it's a liability. And then question number 17, out of the following, the transaction which influence reduce the equity, right? So paying insurance charges rupees 2,500 will affect the equity to reduce. Insurance charge is expense, so expense is value to equity ka. And then we'll quickly go through the accounts, double entry systems, right? Dual impact of transactions. So we have to select the correct statement from the following related to the principle of double entries. The principle of double entry is increase in debit decreases credit is relevant for liabilities. No.
Increase debit, decrease credit is relevant for equity. No, increase credit, decrease debit is relevant for income accounts. Yes. When income increases, it gets credited. When income decreases, it gets debited. Right. Following is a transaction that occurred in business selling a stock of goods to Nimal on credit for 10,000. Sorry, 10,000. Select the double entry to record this transaction. Okay. So here selling stock of goods to Nimal on credit. So sale that has to be credit. Nimal is a debtor. Now debtors account debit, sales account credit. Answer would be third one, right? Debtors account debit, that is Nimal account debit, sales account credit. While the sales account in the ledger of the business is blank account and the drawings account is a blank. So sales is a income account, drawings is a equity account, right? Sales is an income account, drawings is an equity account. And now we have to match the types of account in question number 4. Assets වලට ගන්න පුළුවන් assets, debtors, liabilities වලට ගන්න පුළුවන් accrued electricity, income වලට ගන්න පුළුවන් sales account, expenditure වලට ගන්න පුළුවන් salary account, right? So you can match that and මෙතන answer දාගන්න. Select the transaction that caused the increase the discount allowed of the business by 800. So we have given a discount 800. Paying money to Janaka a creditor, no, that is not the case. That becomes the discount received. Selling goods for 3,200, which has been marked 4,000, no, that is also discount. What do you call? Goes the discount allowed. 800. No, that is a trade discount. Receiving 800 from Ruan, debtor, no. Obtaining money from Kapila, debtor 8,000, subject to a 10% discount. So obtaining money from Kapila, a debtor, and there is a 8% discount. So out of 8,000, when you give a 10% discount, that will become a discount allowed 800, right? So that is the answer. Different accounts of a business in a column X and nine types of accounts in column Y are given below. Now we have to match this. So bank loan account is a liability account, building account is a asset account, insurance account is a expense account, rent received is a income account. So we can match this and go for an answer. So those are the questions that has been asked since 2002, right? 2002 sit inang උඩට අහලා තිබ්බ questions තමයි ඔය 2002 වෙනකන් නෑ මම දැන් 2009 ඉඳන් තියෙන්නේ 2009 ඉඳන් අහලා තිබ්බ questions තමයි ඔය අපි discuss කරේ related to the first couple of lessons. So when it comes to the part 2, right, even in part 2 they might have asked some questions, right? Part 2 එකේ සාමාන්‍ය questions තියෙනවා. So let me show you. We'll take the paper 2024. So when it comes to 2024, under the accounting area, right? Under the accounting, they have asked this question, right? Under accounting, they have asked this set of questions. I think first question again, on the first question, fifth question again, Roman number, Samane 1, 2, 3, right? Roman number 1, 2, 3 වලින් අහන්නේ මෙන්න මේකට related questions තමයි. So 2 characteristics of assets. So you can go with like what it is a past, there is future economic benefits inflow to the business, and then assets are owned and controlled by the business. So those are the characteristics. Advantages of computerized accounting, right? Computerized accounting wala advantages මොනවද කියලා අහුවොත් it enhances efficiency of the organization. It is accurate, right? There is less cost. අන්න ඒ වගේ දේවල් ගන්න පුළුවන්. Okay. Number 3, the following are two transactions affected to the accounting equation of a business. ඒක බලන්න assets, equity, liabilities දීලා තියෙනවා. So here there is 2 transactions happening, right? මේ transactions දෙකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකේ මොනවද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා කියන්න. So in the first transaction, asset is decreasing cash,
liability is decreasing 15,000 creditors. There you can paid to creditors rupees 15,000. That is the entry there. And then the second one, 25,000 stocks has been decreased, 30,000 cash has increased, and 5,000 profit has increased. That means selling 25,000 worth of stock for rupees 30,000. That would be the transaction there. And then moving on to the third question, sorry, B, third one, B some information of Sagar's business is given below. They have to calculate the equity of this business. So they have given the opening capital, right? The opening capital is given, right? Opening capital, and then they have given the income and expenses. Sometimes alter income and expenses adukalla value ekakkan. So 360 value 210 kiyama value ekakiyada 360, right? From 360,000, you have to deduct 210. So that you will get 150, right? There is there is 150. So that 150 plus there is this 100 additional capital. Okay, so 500 plus 150 plus 100,000. So you will get 500, 600, 700, 750,000, right? 750,000 will be the equity asset 31st December, right? It will be the equity asset 31st December. Simple as that. ලොකෝ ප්‍රශ්න එන්නේ මේකේ මේ assets හොයන්න, equity හොයන්න, පොඩි සිඟිති ප්‍රශ්න තමයි එන්නේ. Very simple. theory එක දන්නවා නම් match එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන් ළමයෝ කිසි අවුලක් නැහැ. All right. So we'll also go to another paper. Right. We'll also go to another paper. Balamu 2023 gamko. So here even in 2023, they under the question number 2, they have asked what is accounting. Accounting it is the process of providing financial information to the stakeholders in order to make business related decisions, right? Accounting we make what we provide financial information to the stakeholders in order to make business related decision. So that is what we call accounting. So under this this question, there is question Roman number 2. They have to mention the type of accounts. Debtors account is asset account, drawings account is a equity account, sales account is a income account, bank loan account is a liability account. Lazy. Sahan started a business by investing 100,000 on 1st of January while writing the accounting equation for Sahan's business after this transaction. So that means accounting equation asset increase in 100,000 cash, equity increase in 100,000 capital. And the B, accounting equation of Sahan's business mentioned in above change at a given rate below after one transaction. 100,000 asset then 200,000 equity is same. The liability has increased by 100,000. That means me ko hinda 100,000 na a liability 30 That means Sahan has obtained 100,000 bank loan. So that is the transaction. Lazy ne. And then there is some transaction given. You have to record it in this table. Receiving from debtor, right? When you receive from debtor, what happens? Cash will increase, the debtors will decrease. Right? Cash will increase, debtors will decrease. Selling goods 50,000 on credit, which costs 35,000. So you can write here on credit. Yeah, on credit, debtors increase 50,000, stock decrease 35,000, equity increase 15,000. So that is the impact of this transaction. Questions according to this 2023 paper, right? So that is very simple as that. May lesson like if you have any questions related to this lesson, please make sure, right? Please feel free to ask me the questions, right? My WhatsApp number එක තියෙනවා ඒක වැඩ කරනවා ඕන වෙලාවක මම free වෙලා හිටියොත් right මම යන්න sometimes මට වෙන classes තියෙන්න පුළුවන් right? Message drop कर दिया ना, voice message या खरीदा ना, I'll explain everything quickly. Right, so with that, we can wind up the session. Thank you and God bless you. Good night.